let's move on to titling cybercrime. So what do we mean by cybercrime? Now, again, if you remember a few slides back, or a few topics back, we talked about information security and we talked about cybersecurity. And we talked about the difference between both of them. Information security could be about anything, normally contained within the organization, the data that the organization has, and us securing this data by introducing the security controls that we talked about. Cybersecurity would be something that is on the internet or on the web. So any web application that I have deployed on the internet, any databases that I have, that would talk about cybersecurity. So if your Facebook account gets hacked or your OneDrive gets hacked, that's where cybersecurity comes into the picture. But if your physical computer gets hacked because your password got cracked by a physical attack, that's where your information security is. So some of the basic ways of preventing cyber attacks on us. Use unique and strong passwords. We've just discussed the complexity of the passwords. We want to keep them random. They should not be guessable. They should not be based on dictionary words. And they should be randomized in such a way that they cannot be predicted or guessed. The length of the password should be very good. Should at least the bare minimum should be 8 characters. Even that is not suggested in today's world. It has to be at least 12 to 16 characters. An operating system, I think, in today's world will support up to 24 or 26 characters. If you go into encryption softwares, they support up to 60 odd characters of passwords. So you want to keep those unique. You want to recycle those passwords on a regular basis. You do not want to reuse old passwords again and again. Avoid public Wi-Fi. That's a must. We always look for free Wi-Fi. We go to coffee shops because they advertise free Wi-Fi. That's nowadays a unique selling point for coffee shops and establishments. And we go there, we connect to the Wi-Fi because we get free internet and we get to serve whatever we want. The problem is you have no idea who else is connected to that Wi-Fi and what kind of attacks they are creating. We would discuss Wi-Fi attacks later on in one of later videos where I can demonstrate how these attacks work. But for now, just remember that public Wi-Fis are very risky. And if your security is not up to the mark, you might just end up getting hacked like nobody's business. Ignore and delete mails from unknown senders. Phishing attacks, very common attacks in today's world. You get an email saying you've won a lottery or you've been chosen for something, or please click here to download your free software and something like that. And those emails are plenty nowadays. I received an email yesterday where there was a Nigerian prince who had died and he had left around $500 million behind. And there was this accountant who wanted to smuggle that money out. And it was a huge email giving me all the details. And out of 7 billion people on this planet, they identified my email address. And they wanted to share half the money with me so that they can masquerade the money and avoid paying taxes, inheritance taxes and whatnot. It was a ridiculous scheme. I mean, being chosen out of 7 billion, 1 out of 7 billion, our luck can't be that good, can it? So you have to be wary about these attacks. Always ask the question, if you won a lottery, did you purchase the ticket? No. So there's never a free lunch, right? So always keep on questioning the things that you've been getting. I'm not saying ignore them, because some of them may actually come true. There's always that 1% hope, but always investigate those things to see whether they are spam, if there is a fraud going on. And if yes, you yourself can communicate with the law enforcement agency and try to figure out who is responsible for that fraud. Make use of antivirus software and always keep it updated. Again, let's not go for the free antivirus softwares because they may be good at detecting infections, but when they come for disinfecting those files, then that's where they ask for money. And that's when you're going to run around and say, okay, let me see which is a very good antivirus to disinfect this kind of a infection. So there are a lot of antiviruses out there, I know that, and it's very confusing which is the best one today. Now, the problem is whichever is the best one in the market may not be the best one for the operating system that you're using. For example, there would be a good antivirus for Windows 7, but the same antivirus installed on Windows 8 or Windows 10 wouldn't be that effective. So always do an investigation. The best way to look at antiviruses and identifying which antivirus suits you is to investigate that antivirus and see the detection rate of that antivirus. See how often does it detect the infections that you're looking at. What you can do is you can head on to a website called virustotal.com. That's virustotal.com. It's a Google-owned website. They have around 60 to 70 odd scanners on that website. Most of the known antivirus scanners are there. try to figure out, try to see if you can get hold of an infected file. Be very careful. You don't want to get infected yourself, or your computer. You can upload it to that particular website and analyze that file and see which antivirus detects those kind of viruses. A few files, a few infections over here and there, and you'll come to know which antiviruses would work for you. Use multi-factor authentication or two-step processes for authentication. Just don't rely on a username and password. Registered devices get OTPs either on your email or on your devices. That gives you an added layer of security. If your password gets compromised, that's still okay, because now the hacker will need to simulate your phone as well. So that's added headaches, and it may just not be worth it. There are so many other people who don't use these kind of techniques who can be hacked much easily than people who have an added layer of security introduced. And be very careful when you're downloading apps. Now, when we say applications on your mobile phones as well as in your computers, on your mobile phone, you still have a certain level of security where you can go to the Apple Marketplace or whatever it is called, the Google Marketplace or whatever it is called, and they do have some level of control. But when you talk about Windows operating systems and you're going on to the open internet to look for different kinds of softwares, you have no idea whether the website that you're on is trustworthy or is hosted by a hacker with a malware on that particular file that you're downloading. Especially if you're downloading a pirated program. Never download a pirated program. So be very careful when you're downloading apps. When you're downloading an executable file, you can upload it to virustotal.exe, scan it to see if there are any viruses or malwares within it. The website also helps you analyze URLs to see if the URL itself may have any malicious attacks within them. Embedded scripts or redirector scripts or things like that. So you can use that website to scan the apps that you're downloading and see if there is anything malicious about those apps.